Hey everybody, it's Mike from Get Your Rock Out, and I'm standing here in Manchester Academy with Protest the Hero. How are you guys doing?
Well, thank you. Yourself?
Cool. How's the tour going? This is coming to the end of the European tour. What's it been like?
It's been marvelous. I mean, it's nice to be back. It's been a few years since we've been in the UK and continental Europe, so it's many happy returns.
Who would you say has been the best crowd so far?
I would say it would be between the Italians or the Hungarians.
Yeah, Budapest, I think, probably takes the cake, just in terms of sheer enthusiasm. But I mean, it's been more than reasonable crowds everywhere we go. We're pretty lucky in that sense.
Anything crazy happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, last night in Glasgow, we participated in a Glaswegian tradition, I guess, of drinking a bottle of Buckfast and forgetting the rest of the evening.
You didn't put a cone on a statue?
I might have.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about Volition. It's been out for a little while now. We certainly liked it. My colleague gave it good plaudits in his review. I'll be bringing that up a bit later. How do you feel about its reception so far?
Well, I mean, I think every time we've released an album, it's been sort of split down the middle of sort of positive and negative reviews. People seem to really enjoy sort of the process of sort of how the album came to be, and that's been a talking point amongst the press. And then also the reviews have been really favorable. I mean, I'm happy with the way the album sounds, and I'm always curious to hear people's criticisms as well. Not that I really take them to heart, but I'm curious enough to want to hear them anyway.
I think this has been one of our most positively reviewed albums in ages.
Yeah. So our first album was described as an inexcusable waste of time.
Who said that?
Oh, some guy on the internet. But I mean, that was hilarious. I mean, I thought that was a very succinct and brutal statement.
So how do you take something like that? I mean, does it go into the next album? Do you think to yourself, wow, is that my waste of my time here? Or do you think to yourself, fuck that guy, I'm just doing my thing here?
No, I mean, I think it's probably a fairly positive sign when a reaction is kind of divisive like that. You know, I think that I would prefer somebody hating the album outright than feeling really bleh or sort of waffling about it, you know? Sometimes it's nice to sort of get a genuine reaction out of someone, even if it is a negative one.
This was a fan-funded album, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you think that's like the new wave of the future, maybe? This is the kind of thing that bands should be doing more of?
I don't know. This is the kind of thing we're saying. It's hard to tell. Like for the current climate, it's great. But you know, as Arf said in the last interview, it's like if there is a way for the labels, the greedy, money-hungry labels, to get their hands in this somehow and turn it into, you know, a way for them to get money again, it's a very dangerous thing. You know, I think right now it's a wonderful kick in the seat of the pants for fucking labels, you know, and it's one they need to sort of change the industry. But I don't know, the potential future for it is actually quite scary.
What do you think about the idea of fan-funded promotions, tours, even the whole gig nights? You know, the fans pick a venue, they fund it themselves, and the band comes and plays.
Well, of course. I mean, that sounds absolutely marvelous. I mean, I hate to sound dreadfully pessimistic. There are definitely ways in which people will sort of track mud through the integrity of these sort of programs. But, I mean, anything that is by the fans and of the fans and for the fans is absolutely terrific. So I think that there are definitely ways in which, you know, you can accomplish those ends and do it beautifully and do it artistically. But there are probably people who will exploit that as well in the future. I think that we'll see more and more crowdfunding from various sources. And hopefully the ones that are genuine will take off and be successful, and the ones that are disingenuous can go fuck themselves.
Do you think that there's a kind of camaraderie that comes from having the fans fund the album? Do you feel that this is an album that the fan base can feel really close to, being that they've essentially made it in a way?
Yeah, I would hope that they feel close to it, because we certainly feel them closer now than ever. So I would really hope that the fans felt their contribution and feel as though they are a part of this record.
Yeah, I would rather be accountable to, you know, someone who enjoys our music and someone who believes in our music than some asshole that works in an office and is just doing it because it's a job and really could care less if it's us or, you know, Joe Blow in the hubcaps.
There it is.
All right, well, I'll talk to you now about, I want to quote from a colleague of mine who reviewed your album for our website. He said, of your voice that it's an intense, almost unnatural energy in the singing voice, mixed with an indescribable and persistent energy that is outstandingly infectious. So a couple of things. First of all, where do you get that energy? And secondly, is that an energy that comes from the way the band writes music, or does the singing energy influence what the band does?
I think the music always comes first, so it's maybe influenced by the intensity of the music. I don't know. It's certainly natural, though. I mean, I can speculate. As to what it is. I think it's punk rock. A lot of people think that maybe we grew up listening to a lot of metal. And I certainly don't have anything against metal, and I'm not trying to evade the label, but we definitely grew up listening to punk rock, and there is way more spirited vocals in punk rock music than in metal, quite frankly. I mean, I think there are a lot of bands in which, the singer of a metal band can sometimes be easily replaceable. I mean, not always, but sometimes, where I think punk rock is about sort of songs, meaningful songs, being sung with some passion and some integrity. I think Rody does a great job of that. I think there might be better singers in metal, but there's better character in punk. It's like there's almost no character in a lot of metal singers. It's just that same fucking thing. And they're highly replaceable. And I think to replace a singer in a punk band, you better find some guy that fucking has more character and joie de vivre than the last guy, or else you're fucking fucked. You're fucking fucked.
Casual swearing is always a lovely thing as well, yeah. Very.
Well, you had a very metal drummer on this album, though. You had Chris Adler from Lamb of God. How did he affect the whole process?
He's incredibly studious guy. Sort of hold himself up and learn the songs. Spend a while learning the songs. What I said in the last interview, and I'll sort of repeat now, is that his style is very much sort of drive the bus. He's sort of that dream drummer in the sense that he doesn't always sit there and try and take the spotlight. He knows that the spotlight will come to him if he just holds the whole thing together. So applying that style underneath the guitars and underneath the vocals has allowed a lot of breathing room in the music, and I think that's why a lot of people are saying that this album is a very concise effort, it's a very clean effort, and the songs are sort of closer to the songs are more succinct somehow, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Chris Adler came and delivered a fantastic job without stepping too far ahead and stepping on anybody's toes.
He didn't chip in with any suggestions at any point or anything like that?
He certainly contributed. The drums were written for him, but he put his own style on it, and he certainly changed some parts around to, for the better, for certain. He did a lot of cool things that we weren't expecting. I think he's a chameleon. He could play almost any style. He just sits down and figures it out, and he's in. I think he's a fantastic drummer, and I think he was the best choice we could have had for this record.
I want to ask you about a particular song called Tilting Against Windmills, and I've got another quote here from my colleague. He described it as having a deliberately, wonderfully realised, chaotic metaphor running through the song. He talked about the implication that the Ann Coulters and the other major homophobic figures of the world are fighting gay marriage the same way that Don Quixote is fighting dragons. Is he on the money there, or is he just talking out of his ass?
Right on the nose.
Good stuff. He'll be glad to hear that. But what is the process behind that kind of writing? How do you envision getting that kind of message into a song, and how do you go about doing it?
It's hard to say, really. Where does inspiration come from? It's really difficult to place in time. It's just you sort of have an idea, or you see something. I was watching some debate that was involving what's his face, that old children's television star. He's super anti-gay marriage because he's very obviously gay, and he's just ashamed of himself. And I got this idea in my head that it was just this is very quixotic in the respect that it's like tilting against windmills. Which has become a very common phrase, I think. I don't know. That's sort of where the stuff happened. I can't remember his name. Michael. think it was like Family Ties. Someone on the fucking internet will know. Comment in the comment section, whoever this guy is.
Maybe the American viewers can help us out there. I'm lost. We'll be all right later. What's next for you guys after this tour's finished?
America. We'll be in America for a little while. I think the next time we'll be back on this beautiful little island, it'll be in the summertime.
All right, well, we'll wrap this interview up then. Do you have a message right into the camera for all our readers at Get Your Rock Out?
Keep your stick on the ice.
And for goodness sake, don't rip your sweater.
All right, let's Protest the Hero on the last, I think it's the penultimate day, second to last day of your UK tour. And Volition is out now. Buy it, it's a good album.